Hey there, Andrew here, welcoming you to another episode of Research and Reviews. This is video 3 of a 4-part series on my scanner saga. Episode 1 was my amazing experience with zip scanners. Episode 2 was a retroactive unboxing of my SDS100. Episode 4 will be on 2 programming methods that will get your scanner up and running fast. And this video is all about my impressions of the Uniden SDS100, what I like, what I don't like, and a little bit about how it works. We're going to start right now. First thing that I noticed about the SDS100 is that it's a bit lightweight. Now, over the years, I've used radios like this commercial-grade Motorola, and it's a brick. I can throw this thing on the ground, I can kick it around the room, and then I can pick it up and it's going to work first time every time. Nothing's going to break. It's a solid radio. In comparison, I would call the SDS100 a medium weight. Now that's not bad, but I wouldn't expect it to have the stamina of the bricks that I'm used to working with. So what I ultimately mean is that if you drop this on a hard surface, you need to count yourself lucky if the case doesn't crack or the radio just doesn't break. Particularly fragile is this belt clip. Now, for regular civilian use, it's going to be fine, but if you're going to be out in the field where it's going to get knocked around a little bit, I would suggest using an external case of some sort. Fact is, if I wanted, I could tear this clip right off, but it's a $650 radio, so I'm not going to do that. Another fragile point is where the clip holds the battery in place. So you're going to want to make sure that the battery is properly lined up before you snap this into place. Otherwise, you could break this. And if you break this guy, that battery's not going to stay on and your scanner's not going to work. Now, the SDS100 is JIS4 rated. What that means is that it is splash resistant to water. And that only holds if these rubber flaps, one covering the USB ports and one covering the earphone jack, which my finger is in the way, but trust me, right there. Okay, as long as those are in place and seated down, then you have that water protection. If they're not in place, then even splash resistance is going to be compromised. Also, JIS4 is only splash resistant to water. You don't want to immerse this radio, otherwise you may be facing catastrophic consequences. Now, between the battery and the clip, there is this little hollow, great place to slip a finger. Makes the radio a little more drop resistant. Very important, again, for these medium weight radios. The controls are pretty simple. On the front, you'll see an array of membrane covered buttons. The lower right is the power on, power off button. Along one side, you will see 2 buttons. You'll see a menu button and a multifunction button. Along the top is a multifunction switch that can either be depressed or turned to the left or to the right. On the top, you'll find an earphone jack, and I found that the earphone jack works with both mono and stereo headphones. Along the other side, you'll see 2 USB ports, and that was a significant point of confusion for me. One is clearly marked for charging. The other has no marking at all, and there's nothing in the manual to tell you what it's for either. Since one of the ports was specifically called out for charging, I presumed that's all it was for, and that the other one was for programming. I was wrong. The charge port is your programming port as well. I don't know what the other one is for because the manual doesn't tell you. And that does bring me to a point of complaint. I found that the manual was completely useless in helping me to operate and program the radio. If it wasn't for the tutorial information available at Zip Scanners, I would not have been able to figure this radio out at all, and I certainly wouldn't have been able to program it. Now, if you have previous experience with Uniden scanners, or if you have a lot of previous experience and knowledge of the various systems out there, maybe the manual might be helpful for you, but if not, not so much. So, what if you're a total novice or only have limited understanding of the various systems in use in your area? In that case, I have 2 recommendations. Number 1, you could have your radio professionally programmed by a vendor such as Zip Scanners. Number 2, and this is the route that I took, educate yourself. View the library at Zip Scanners or elsewhere on YouTube, and you'll be able to get at least a starting point for programming your radio. Now, starting up this radio is really pretty simple. You just press that lower button for a few seconds, and then it goes through a boot up process similar to a computer. In a second, it's going to start loading in the databases for your favorites, and then it's up and running. Now what you see here are the systems the departments, and the channels that the radio is scanning. Now, if you're new to these kind of radios, you may be asking, what the heck is all of that? In my next video, I'm going to tell you what that's all about, and I'm going to show you how a total novice can program up an SDS100 fast.